Good evening, Free Enterprise viewers, Free Enterprise race fans. We have got a race for you tonight in the Blue Moon waxing bracket between Zoe Vermillion and Reckless Charlie. I'm very excited to see how this one plays out. And we have hopefully got a great seed rolled by our restreamer, Xenocat, Dubword hitting the buttons. And joining me in the booth is Poydrak. How are you doing this evening, Poydrak?
It's late. I'm tired. Perfect time to do some commentary.
I agree. Why not? There's tons of races this week, and I'm very excited to watch this Blue Moon race as a Red Moon racer myself. I'm very curious to see how these runners handle the tuned up loot with the T Wildish settings. Where do they go first? How do they get their early game power? And how are they going to find the 8 bosses we have laid out before us here? I'm not sure if these are actually our bosses.
No, they're just everything that starts with D. That's yeah. Even the Zemus, he's just cosplaying as Demus.
So it goes from Demis to Demus, if I'm calculating that right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice and symmetrical.
But we've got yeah. Before the cat says, well, what about Cabrera? They're the doll.
Exactly. Got the dolls, the D Knight, the D Elf, the DR Lugat. Yeah, I can see what's happening here. What's happening for Zoe and Charlie are they're about to race, and Zoe got through her first match, but Charlie, I believe, got a bye to this current round. So, unless I'm mistaken, I believe this is Reckless Charlie's first tournament match of this bracket. So, we'll see if he's had extra time to do some practice and how that will play out here tonight.
Yeah, both of the runners have a fairly, and this is going to be a sort of pun, but reckless style. Zoe has been known to take a number of risks during the races, and Reckless Charlie, well, it's basically in his name.
Yeah, maybe we have the possibility for dueling reckless or dueling risky plays, and that would certainly be exciting for us here in the booth, and I think all of you viewers out there as well. But there are our actual bosses. As always, we've got the Alt Gauntlet, we've got Golbez, and some of at least the D Knight here that was up in our previous panel of 8 has made it to the final cut here for the bosses. What do you think of these bosses, Poydrak?
In Leviathan, Mega Sisters, Mylon, Dark Knight, and the other Mylon. A bit of a mix. It's nothing really too especially powerful, except maybe that Odin in a couple of spots and the Mega Sisters in a couple of spots. The D Knight you can usually get around, so nothing too special, but definitely a couple out there to watch.
Yeah, speaking of a couple, we kind of have a power couple here. We've got the white mage half of the power couple, along with maybe her close friend Kane, and they are off. A Ruby Sprite greets them. Neither Ruby nor the Elements is required boss. We know that is not necessarily required Baron, but you know who's waiting for you there if you decide to go.
Yeah. Most importantly, that was the hook as a starting item. We very well may be seeing some early dives into Cave of Balana today to do our looting. No watery pass except maybe to check the character. No risking trap chests in Castle Eblan. Cave of Balana seems like a good place. And then Zoe goes and proves me wrong, like she always does.
Yeah, I guess looking for some early loot. I'm not sure if Zoe's going to try to tackle the traps. My guess would be not, but this is T Wildish, and there's great stuff to be found. I'd like to welcome in the Raiders from RPG Limit Break, who watched another Free Enterprise race between J-Mac, the Librarian, and Frankie Bones. And of course, no spoilers, but I will admit I was watching that as we were about getting going, and it is worth a watch back if you haven't seen it. But hopefully we have a similar one here that we can recommend to folks when this one's done.
Reckless Charlie has added Possum and Martin to the party, who are strangely still inseparable. Teller and Porum, so two very mage heavy at the moment, but we've still got a free character still to pick up. We'll see what else we've got.
We find and resets out of a monster box there, but I think you were just about to mention, was that a Leviathan summon?
That was a Leviathan summon, and Yarn. Leviathan is good if you find Iridia. Iridia isn't exactly guaranteed though, so we'll see what shows up.
Wonder how deep Charlie is going to go here on this loot, because as you mentioned, they do have Cave of Lana open right away. Maybe there's even hourglasses there to allow early access to trap chests. But we do have a Tella, and I think Tella is going to be used right about now to exit Charlie out of the waterfall.
Before Mount Ordeal's exit, Blink has a lot of utility in those two spells alone. So we'll see what else we get out of Tella later, but I fully expect him to sort of stick around for a bit, especially since we don't have another source of warp at the moment for our dwarf glitch later.
A Sorkrow pickup in the Damsian basement, so that's a nice pickup for Charlie.
Zoe has now found all three trap chests in Castle Evelyn. He is going to be able to clear the rest of this out, knows where everything is, and if finds a Cecil later, maybe come back.
Well, there's the Iridia for the Leviathan use. We'll see if Charlie chooses to give her a few levels, get her enough MP to be able to cast that very powerful summon. And speaking of hourglasses, Zoe did just find one in one of the last chests checked. But B's out of here. Let's see where Zoe goes next.
Reckless Charlie took the Iridia and dropped the Rosa. That has been a common theme in this particular tournament. Rosa has been dropped over Porum, and I'm not entirely certain why. Porum has a lot of function, but so does Rosa. It's a little odd considering how everyone considers Rosa to be the better character.
Yeah, definitely in the end game, she's got the much better HP growth and the earlier Cure 4 and things like that. But in the early game, I guess it's maybe you're attracted to the slightly earlier Berserk and Blink and Exit and that sort of stuff. I know I've done it once when I kind of knew there was a slingshot on the horizon, and I decided to sling Rosa over Porum. I'm not sure that was the right call, but it was available. But we don't quite know that about this seed yet.
We do have a Teller, so that slingshot is on the table. We'll see. There's still plenty of seed to come along and give us some surprises, I'm sure.
So we just nabbed a cat claw and a samurai bow from the free treasury over in Troya. No earth crystal required, and still some pretty nice stuff on T. Wildish.
And Edward did give a white spear, so that cane is going to be doing some fairly okay damage to start off with. Good weapon to take into the late game. You don't need to do any searching of trap chests for something good.
Yeah, it's true. Cane is set, and I wonder if we're going to see some of the early game usage of the white spear as an item.
Could very well. What I'm seeing with this particular team is about those trap chests. We're not really seeing anyone that's going to utilize anything good out of them. We haven't really found an Edge. We haven't found a Cecil yet. We may find one upon Ordeals here, but they're the two big beneficiaries of trap chests, and there's Kane, and there's the Edge. But even Edge doesn't really gain a whole lot out of it. There's still, you can still get a good power for him just lying around. And so Trap Chest might not be the best route to go for this particular team this time round.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe we'll see them if either runner sees the hook boss and decides maybe they're in it more for the levels than the gear, and then maybe they can luck into getting that great Edge gear you're talking about. Have we seen all the characters at this point now between our two runners?
We have indeed. Reckless Charlie has gone through every single old check. We have are starting in Rosa, Kane, Porum, Teller, Edge, Yang, and Rydia.
And the boss check at Miss Cave, is it one of our required? Well, nope. We saw the dolls earlier during the kind of the joke period, but not an official boss tonight.
And the in that spot with the way the experience is split, and you don't get a lot anyway, there's really no need to fight that fight at all. No big reward to be had. Reckless Charlie is making use of that one siren that they picked up for a Lilith fight up on Ordeals, with Edge being able to flame and take them all down pretty quickly. These are some early levels, and this is going to give that Rydia MP for Leviathan, and the Porum is going to be that little bit closer to Berserk, which is very important for both Kane and Edge. And Kane isn't exactly shying away from those levels. He does need a little bit of an early punch to start doing damage.
Yeah, I'd be pretty happy if this was my party less than 10 minutes in with the gear they have and the that experience bump. Yeah, and I do expect we're gonna see some waves going from right to left, and then maybe from left to right on the second fight from Charlie.
Or you could just wait this one out. You do have to go through 1250 damage to win this, so it's not really that much. But you could also just wait it out and let them burn themselves out.
Yeah, and maybe you want to do that, especially with the Rydia for the MP total.
And there's that white knight cast from the White Spear. So yeah, saving the MP on Rydia here. To be, yeah, you save that for a better fight. Like, that fight is not hard. You can just wait it out, use the items or attack like that, and you're done.
Yeah, and unfortunately, as a Roel, we do know Purple Robe here. We know it has to be required. This is vanilla Mylon Z, and we know when we see another Purple Robe, that'll be another boss. But this should be a pretty easy fight to get through for our runners.
On that White Spear, pretty good against Final Z. Yeah, that full moon as well. But what's good against most bosses? Well,
yeah, we're about to wash this Archfiend of Earth right off the bridge into the deep ravine. And then we're going to head into that Ordeals fight, get our Tele powered up, see if we get a useful key item, and move on. Pretty quick Ordeals for this team.
We're definitely waving goodbye to that Mylon Z.
I think this Ordeal so far is definitely one of those, you're happy that it's easy, but at the same point, both of those bosses would have been trivial at later spots anyway, with the gear that we have, and King Queen Evelyn, of course, are the freest of free. So they're out of the way, but they're not going to save you or give you an easy out later in the game, unfortunately.
Considering this is the first check, though, even with that Lilith fight, you see this as free experience to get yourself running. And you've got you've got the hook now. You know you're going to be heading down there since it is your way underground. The seeing some free bosses up here, you think levels? I've got things going pretty well.
So Zoe collected her edge, and now I'm wondering what the plan is. Okay. Had Zoe not been to Mysidia yet? Or, okay, I guess she spied something in the shop worth going back for.
Might have been a long blade, because has found a few daggers and that full moon, but nothing major in terms of bigger weaponry for or edge. A long blade is a fairly okay upgrade.
I'm just looking at Zoe's inventory.
Or black belts.
Yep. Black belts, which we can easily afford because of just how much stuff our runners have. Neither one is hurting for cash at this point.
Yeah, and considering it's Seneki, the characters come with pretty much no gear to start off with. Buying a couple of black belts, else giving one to Kane, one to Edge. That's a massive boost in damage output.
Yeah, it looks like Zoe is ready to start clearing. I think we're going to get a first look at Antlion here, and our first look at Fabul from Charlie.
Couple of full moons for Zoe's Edge. Veers really into that boomerang life.
Yeah, fully back road. You only need one, but two's not bad. I'm looking at the question in chat about where does the gauntlet give the most enemies. I'm wondering if that would be Sealed Cave with all the bats.
No, I think it's actually Myth Cave because there's at least 2 sets of 6. I think that's
true.
And I think there's a couple of 4s in there. So I think that's the one with the most amount of enemies.
Yeah.
It's not exactly the hardest.
No. That's the only one where you can see larvae.
Nothing of meaningfulness in Fabul, but we've got the pan, so we'll be back.
Yeah, a nice bow, but this party has enough offensive equipment already. We'll see if Zoe finds a required boss down here at the bottom of Mist, and Zoe indeed does. It is the sisters in a super easy spot, so that's fun to see them here.
Yeah, take out the most dangerous one, which is Mindy in this particular case, but all of them are going to fall very quickly. 400, 300, 300, I think, is the experience, the hit point split with the 400 going to Cindy. But yeah, easy fight.
I think Mindy is very flattered that you referred to her as dangerous in this spot.
Well, she is. those tier 2 spells and the virus do hit hard in a couple of places if you let them.
For sure. And but it is now over. I think we just saw an Evil Wall up on Hobbs. Challenging boss, but you do not need to fight Evil Wall in the seed.
No character up there to collect. Just a wall. You can just walk past it.
Or around it, because it doesn't really seem to connect anything.
Yeah, not even a door.
But it looks like a door, so it's confusing.
Yeah, it's just confused itself, that's all.
I don't know if you noticed, we got the spoon from Antlion, so I guess that'll get flung at something at some point.
Edward's useful. Yes, I do know that he's not there, but Edward's useful now.
Maybe they should go back to Troya and talk to him in the bed. Maybe he'll just leap out of bed when he sees the spoon, eager to help out the team.
It's been known for him to give you a character check and then appear on that character check, so... Of course, not in this particular thing because it's see no earn, but still,
yep.
Point still stands for others.
So let's see. I'm going to guess Charlie's going to head to Baron. A peek near the waterfall.
Yeah, no, it still needs to peek this one and the Mist Cave, but Baron, you don't usually go underground until you've checked all your locations on the overworld, and usually, unless there's something really dangerous or difficult to get through, you clear them all.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, the darkness crystal hiding somewhere and you don't find it could be a big game changer, because we know the hook is the underground route on both Red and Blue Moon seeds. It's just the way this tournament's been set up with, of course, Hook Flag. But that doesn't mean that the darkness can't be on the overworld. It won't lead to magma, but it could lead to many bosses that you need. It could lead to big experience gains. So it's you don't want to find that 20 to 30 minutes after you could have.
Yeah, we do have a teller. We did have a siren on Hector's Charlie's case. Zoe still does have hers. Hourglass as well was found. So plenty of options if we do find that darkness crystal. Still, got to get there though. Yeah, really. We've got to find out what's happening next.
Though we found darkness arrows, but I don't think those get you to the moon necessarily.
Not usually.
You would need a really strong bow pull, I would assume.
Yeah, no Sid is in the sea to change them into a useful item. Rati in the first spot, 400 hit points. Yeah. Edge says hi.
Slightly trickier boss in the second spot.
Slightly, but this spot doesn't have any physical defense after the spin happens, I believe. So, and doesn't get any magical defense either. So Leviathan will do well. Just Edge will do well. Yeah, and throwing things will do well.
Yeah, so the Shuriken darted, the cane jump, and here's the big Leviathan cast, and that should just about do it. Well, maybe one more.
It also gives no experience, so you don't need to worry about characters going down.
But does it give us a key item? It does, and that's a pretty big one. The Earth Crystal, leading to a treasury, leading to 2 boss checks, and leading to knowledge of the Dwarf 2 spot. So that is a... it's not the Darkness Crystal, but that's also another one that I don't think you'd want to find out about 20 minutes after the fact.
No. The treasury is a dilemma in this, because we've found some really good gear. We don't really need a whole lot more. Edge could do with a little bit more, but you're not really relying on it with what you've got as well. You've got long blades, you've got assassin daggers and new daggers. You don't really need too much more. Do you want to risk taking the little bit of extra time to find maybe an Avenger, which is the only meaningful big upgrade for Kain, and a Masamune?
I think I do. I think I would find it at 20 minutes in. I would find it very difficult to turn it away. Let's see what Charlie decides here. And there's that hard right turn.
I probably would as well, but
yeah, your point is well taken for sure.
Yeah, I can see the reason why not to.
Await that treasury!
A lot of pretty nice stuff in there. No Avenger.
No,
Power shirt, though.
Yeah, the power shirt, the Stardust rod, and the heroine robe. All those can be useful. So and that siren could be a little bit of money saved, but you're not really hurting for money at the moment either. So nothing game changing.
See Zoe on the left having no issues here on Ordeals, and I assume we'll go directly into the mirror chamber to fight that fight. And then we'll see if Zoe follows in Charlie's footsteps or has other plans.
There was a Murasame and Artemis arrows in there, but yeah, the Murasame is a big upgrade for Edge.
And maybe the Artie arrows get you out of a jam.
Yeah, I still don't think it's a major win in there, but we'll see what if anything gets used and proves me wrong. I'm always happy to be proven wrong.
All right, let's get a dragon boss right here. Oh, we don't. But we do know now that this is elements, which means Rubicante is waiting back in our Baigan spot. Neither one required. So we'll see if Zot 2 is required, and we'll get our little peek at Dwarf 2 after this fight, which should pose no problem to Charlie.
The only Mylon not required today.
That's right. Oh, it's kind of an honor.
Zoe's through Ordeals. A little bit behind Reckless Charlie, but he has been going through a lot more searches for items and shop checks, so not really surprising. We'll see where he goes next. Likely to that Baron, actually, because I think he's saving football for after going underground. No, he's already done that. Never mind.
Yep. So that Octomom at Fabul, yep, up on Verse Green. And there's a required boss. We now know Odin at Dwarf 2, so that's going to be, I would wager, our runner's first stop when they get underground, assuming Zoe sees it as well.
Definitely a nice sight to see. Having a peek and being able to peek this boss is helpful.
Yeah, I wonder if notes are being scribbled or it's just being committed to memory or a tracker is being clicked, but some way you just know that that little very valuable piece of information is being filed away somehow.
It's not like people usually don't do Dwarf anyway because of the warp glitch being available, and there is the first fight there. But it just makes it easier to say, oh, I need to go there at some point.
Yeah, guaranteed value. There will be no... You won't feel bad after going there.
Officer Soldier, you don't really care too much about this. This spot has high magic, but its physical power is lacking. So and the guards don't really hit too hard in the first place. So one Leviathan sweeps them away. See what we get for our key item. Is it going to keep Reckless Charlie staying on the overworld? Is it going to take him to the moon, or is it time to dive the hook?
Looks like it's hooked up.
Yeah, when you've got nowhere else to go, you brave the hook route.
To answer a question from chat asking about are most of the characters out of this seed, I believe both of our flag sets use a distinct 7 flag, meaning that there's only 7 characters, and since there is all the characters are available in the free spots, we know all of them, and our runners have essentially made their choices, barring any swaps later in the game for who they're running with.
Yeah, there are 7 free character slots in the game to pick up. The reason why we've added distinct 7 to the flag set is because without that being attached, the normally restricted characters in Edge and Fu, more so Edge, don't actually appear and with See No Earned, and so we had to limit things a little bit more to make sure they appeared.
I missed the item shop in the cave. Did you catch it, Poydrak? What was for sale there?
I didn't see the item shop. I saw there was sorcerer robes in the actual armor shop, but Xenocrat is saying Barkus wines, which are really helpful, and Leviathan, which isn't as much.
No, unless it was the boss Leviathan, which I don't think it was, because bosses aren't sold in the shops. Come on. But I am looking at that Leviathan icon on our tracker, so they are looking for that boss. Let's see if it appears here at the ruby spot. Well, that's a sparkle.
That is a sparkle, and we don't have a sparkle boss on our tracker today, so we know that this could be not required, but it still is required. So good luck.
I guess I'll call it. Yeah, that's what I'm going to call, because I was maybe trying to foreshadow maybe it was going to be Leviathan, and Ogo has a similar but stronger script to Leviathan in some ways with the waves coming out, so maybe we'll get that wave anyway.
Yeah, those Barkus wines are definitely going to come in useful, because you don't really want to risk the Berserk cast when you really should be healing to get your health back from the waves.
Yeah, free your white mages up for the healing, for the blinks, and let your melee fighters berserk themselves with a quick drink.
If it is, for the most part though, Rydia in this upcoming fight isn't exactly going to be too helpful. Oh, the best she's got is Leviathan, and usually the moon bosses have a pretty nasty counter to a summon, so she's not going to be as helpful. But if it's Plague, it's possible. We'll see who's there.
Speaking of counters, here's a boss, and not traditionally a moon boss, but often found on the moon in our seeds. But here's Antlion. Took a dart, tried to get Rydia to cast that Leviathan, but you can see the power of the melee attacks here at the KQE spot, even taking Edge down below half health. But Edge does have some pretty powerful darts, so I think we're just going to dart our way through this Antlion.
Yeah, 6,000 health in this particular spot. This is, and it's fairly fast. This isn't an easy fight by any stretch of the imagination. And yeah, there goes Edge. Edge is your damage there.
What do you think, Poydrak? Do we have to spend the spoon here?
I think yes. I think to get through this fight quick, throw the spoon.
Yeah.
The Antlion is a very worthy spoon throwing opponent in most spots.
And here it comes. Oh, doesn't that feel good? It's gone.
Especially in a space where we can actually do damage, like King Queen Evelyn Swat, with its high attack power and high speed.
Taking the save, so we don't get to see who that sparkle is yet, but we will soon.
makes perfect sense. And you don't know what you're getting into. All you know is it's not Wyvern, because Wyvern can't be gating this particular spot under this flag set. So yeah, make sure you are ready as can be for this fight, which is...
We called it. We did it, Poydrak.
Also a very useful spoon throwing boss, but yeah, here comes the Barkus Wines. And get some blinks up with that teller, especially on the Porum, and just then from that point start healing.
Good news for Zoe. Via's finished Tower of Zot, and Zoe will get to see the fun hook route ahead shortly.
Yeah, this is a pretty painful hook route, really, because there's a lot of danger in these two fights.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if you didn't have these relatively strong teams, like if you didn't have the tools, if you didn't have that spoon to throw, if you didn't have the Bacchus, if you didn't have the decent offensive gear. I mean, this would be a nightmare hook route.
Yeah, and even in this case, even with the Bacchus ones, this is still dangerous because honestly, your healing options to get through the waves, to get through any counters that you might incur with casting spells, and just the sheer amount of hit points, 25,000. This isn't easy.
No, it definitely isn't. I think Charlie has done a good job stabilizing here, getting blinks up that are quickly being knocked down. Oh, and that was a pretty heavy hit on Kane, taking him down.
Yeah, and that blink was ready for Kane. I mean, we called it board AI, and it strikes again. I believe a wave is just about to come out, so might not... Oh no, that Cure 2 is quick enough.
Yeah, well timed there to save Kane. Just the single wave for quarter of your total hit point in damage, but we know the double is coming up next if they can't get through remaining hit points before that comes up.
The biggest thing about this seed aid is the shops are easy. You don't have to worry too much about that because you've got money. We've found a lot of items to sell, and the 20 Barkus Wines for each runner today on the first pass through Cave of Blanna. That's a little bit more atypical than you might normally get.
Yeah, that seems like a very healthy number of Bacchus, and they, as you mentioned, I even 20 minutes ago their bank accounts were overfilled. So they do have the tools, and down goes Ogo on Charlie's side. Nice job, Charlie.
And only Teller was down on his face, so nothing of value was lost.
I was going to ask you a little earlier, we're thinking about anchoring. I don't think either runner has found a curse ring, so maybe they're happy that even that Hella's falling down is still relatively low hit point and level total on that Tella.
Anchoring wise, I don't think you care too much. Yeah, they've done a lot of searching of shops, so they haven't found a curse ring at this point, but they are looking. So I would think that both of our runners are saying, I'm going to find a curse ring. I don't care how many levels our characters get. In terms of Zoe, Via's got a lot more options because Via doesn't actually have Teller in the team at the moment. Teller is waiting back in the Tower of Wishes, so that's likely going to be a quick swap later for anchoring.
Yeah.
while Reckless is a little bit reckless, while Charlie is a little bit more on the hope for finding a cursed ring side, because but does have Yang, who has 8 agility back in the tower, which is so it's not too bad that you can use.
Well, a few moments ago, we had 2 spoons between our runners, and now we're down to 0 spoons, but the good news for them is we're also down to 0 antlions.
Yep, and Zoe is just about to find out about the Ogopogo problem, but also making the choice to go back and save. No surprises there. That's a third white spear we found in this seed.
I've also think we found at least 2 white shirts, so there's a dress code here, I guess, tonight.
So he looks at Ogopogo in the eyes and the tail and the knots and sighs.
Looks like was that a plan on Rosa to berserk herself, and did she just whiff? Because she has the heroin robot and the Artibo, I suppose.
Most likely, between both of them, that it does make things very difficult to cast. And here comes the sylphs to heal and also hurt.
Let's see. So what do they get? About 255. So I think a net gain, but Zoe's Yang does go down.
Definitely feels like a fight to just win before the second set of double waves.
Yeah, Zoe's got both Edge and Rosa putting out good damage, but you got to keep them up, and I guess that task falls to Rydia in this case.
I'll never mind about finding Cursed Ring in the shop, because Reckless Charlie has just found one hanging out in a pot in Dwarf Castle. I'm pretty sure that was a Cursed Ring. Yep, there it is in the inventory.
Well, that's good for Charlie. He's got his agility fully figured out for the rest of the seed and has lifted the curse of the Dwarven Basement for them. So that's kind of a double win.
Here comes the double wave. Everyone's above half health, so good parameters to just keep going. And with Edge and Rosa doing the amount of damage they do, and very well calculated fight.
For sure. I think Zoe may have made up some time there, because this seems to have gotten a lot closer at this point, only a couple minutes behind Charlie getting through.
Yeah, instantly throwing the spoon while Charlie took a wipe against Antlion, and overall the fight against Ogopogo was slightly quicker. The hook route has been playing out very nicely for Zoe.
Yeah, nicely done there, Zoe, for sure. But take a look who's at Dwarf 1. We know who's at Dwarf 2, Poitrak, but this is a pretty valuable Dwarf Castle tonight.
Yeah, we are going from 2 to 4. Well, boss is on our tracker very, very quickly. Halfway there. Still no darkness or pathfire found, but halfway there.
Yeah, if you're new to our tournament, we have kind of 2 concurrent tournaments running, a blue moon and a red moon, but both of them have the similarity in that there are 8 bosses. You find 7 of them. You earn the crystal, giving you the ability to go fight Zeromus. And as Poitrak mentioned, we'll be at 4 on Charlie's side by the time he gets through Dwarf Castle. We know Odin is about to make an appearance. There he is, king in the castle.
The Thunder Claw that Edge is currently wielding is doing a lot of work in in these two particular fights. Both bosses are weak to thunder. Odin even more so than Leviathan.
Yeah, very thematic Dwarf Castle tonight.
I'm a little bit disappointed in Edge only doing 3,624 damage there.
That's why I was going to compliment him, but I guess you're right. It could have been a higher roll.
Most important, well, not most importantly, because the two bosses are the most important, but this does give access to the warp glitch, one of the free glitches available on the Blue Moon. The free glitches being Life Glitch, the Back Row Glitch, and the Warp Glitch, which means we're going to be able to skip having to walk all the way through Luca Cave with the Luca Key and walk back into the room right now. Doesn't mean that we're not going to fight the boss later, because we may need it, but
you certainly don't need the item.
Yeah. Rat Tail into Strength Ring. The Rat Tail might be useful, but not exactly what you really want to see. The real key items you want to see are the ones that open bosses up. So the Darkness Crystal, from what we got left, the Darkness Crystal, Twin Harp, the package, Baron Key, the Tower Key, even the Luca Key. You don't really want to see anything that sort of just leads you to just another key item.
Yeah, and even though, if you get both halves of the Forge, you might luck into one of the best weapons in the game for either your Edge or your Cane. It's not at the top of your list, and it's not leading you closer to that go mode. However, that purple robe is. We know both purple robes required. We know we have Mylon and friends in the Asura spot down the Feymarch, and Unknown Sparkle is sitting to the left.
Yeah, Zoe is not leaving Feymarch until that Mylon and its friends are defeated. In this spot, it's an easy fight. The ones are going to hit a little bit harder than usual because the magic is fairly respectable, but they're still lit ones. This fight is nowhere near dangerous.
First, though, a peek at the non-required Sparkle. There's a Pale Dim, and we have plenty of dragon killing gear if Zoe chooses to pursue that after taking on the required fight. We'll see what B decides on that front. And what do you think about Charlie doing the grind here? I would guess he's also planning on doing a one-stop trip down to the Feymarch with those extra levels.
Just the Siren that was found, and haven't really found them in the shops yet. I think Charlie's just making sure he's above the curve for levels. Zoe is taking the opportunity to maybe just put the Mylon on the back burner. Knows that we can do that fight pretty much any time. Might want a couple of extra levels just in case that Pale Dim is required. That Pale Dim is quite dangerous with how hard it hits and how fast it is. So wants to make sure that V is ready for it.
Yeah, it's true. With the Artie Heroine, you're going to be damaging the Pale Dim pretty heavily, but it's going to be doing likewise to your entire party while you're waiting for those shots to come off from Rosa.
Yeah, and although we have some fairly good gear for killing dragons, we don't really have any good gear to protect against dragons. And Heroine Robe is okay, but it's still not enough to save you from a punch in that particular spot.
We did see Zoe pick up a stack, I think, of 15 Sirens, and Zoe also got Vercurse Ring from the basement, so we're kind of equal now on the agility manipulation front. Charlie's got to get his first look at this Feymarch pairing.
and I don't see him leaving without at least that extra siren done. And this fight is going to happen. It's going to take a little bit of time, but not really that long. It's a matter of getting down the gas, and then the rest is pretty academic.
See if the Ninja's Flame can take care of these gas here first. Looks like most of the way there.
And I think they have around about 1,500 health, maybe a little bit less than that in this particular spot. But Leviathan should sweep them away and finish it up. Yeah, 108 damage on a lit 1. That's pretty impressive. And those are going to come out consistently with the counters.
Yeah, not enough to one-shot, but you are going to have to watch your hit point totals as they come out. That was a healthy swing from Edge, close to 2,000 damage on that Mylon.
It seems that Corum was actually resisting the lit ones as well. So yeah, the boys on the front bow taking 300 damage. 300, 400 damage. And yeah, you can't discount the occasional punch that Mylon will do either.
Yeah, that really lucky to hang on in the back and get that Leviathan cast out.
Are we making short work of the bosses in Wolf Castle? Thunderclaw, 7,456. That's more like it. But then again, Zoe's Edge has a lot more strength gear than Charlie's does. And we can now go kill Piggy.
Oh, okay. So it's not going to be our 8th character, huh?
Well, the Piggy might want to join us. We can go and find out.
Something tells me Charlie's not going to make that trip, unfortunately.
Probably right.
Something tells me Charlie's going to take a stab at the Pale Dim. I don't think Charlie found the Artemis. Oh, there they are. I see them. Never mind.
Yeah, they were in the treasury, so were found. But I don't think this is really a setup for to win this particular fight. Yeah, you've cursed Teller, so everyone's going as fast as they can. But yeah, you don't fight that fight unless you know you're going to win. And at this point, you can't guarantee it.
Yeah, you'd be juggling a lot of blinks and hoping that Pale Dim chooses friendly targets.
Yeah, and with Teller being cursed, you only have one blink caster at the moment in Portham. She's good, but she can't keep up.
Right, and why try that kind of tricky fight when we still have the Pan and the Shield 1 check to turn in, which I anticipate we're about to see on Charlie's side and maybe even Zoe's side.
This has evened up very, very quickly. Zoe has sped through a lot of these checks that Charlie's taken a little bit of time on, and it's showing that they're going to do this rat tail check at the same time.
Zoe making the play to see just in case the pink tail comes out of one of these checks to kind of consolidate that, but
yeah, I like this move. This is a move that I make as well. If you've got Sheila primed for even just one check, you go and check this just to make sure, or before you go do the rat tail check.
But I reckon the rat tail check, even if the pink tail shows up, is probably going to be the more important as as it did yield our darkness crystal.
We've got a Baron key, which the boss we've seen isn't required, and we've got a darkness crystal from the rat tail and a dart in an Excalibur. So overall, that's between those 3 checks. That's actually a lot of good.
Yeah, unless these final 2 bosses are buried deep behind some chain, these runners could be in go mode quite shortly. I guess that's a fairly big if.
Yeah. We've still got a lot of checks to be made in terms of bosses, and we've got 3 bosses available out of a lot of them. So at the moment, the numbers aren't on the side, but they will narrow down very quickly.
So yeah, runners neck and neck going into Baron, and really at this point it's just Charlie being up that Mylon fight that Zoe does know about, Mylon being down in the Asura spot in Fey March, but that is the difference in the race right now. Very close.
Yeah, and with the extra levels that Zoe is going to be taking into that fight later, it's not going to take a lot of time. So yeah, this race is really, really close.
Yeah, we might be essentially with that you pointed out with the levels essentially in a flat-footed tie, depending on how the rest of the routing goes.
Charlie has more levels at the moment, and in terms of doing a couple of those, using a couple of sirens, but Zoe's gear is a little bit better from the checks that Fizz made. So I think that's evened it out a little bit as well on that front. They're both bringing out about a similar amount of power in each fight.
There'll be a lot of leg on the screen in a moment here.
There's also another major difference in the team, which I think is a sort of a little advantage for Zoe going forward in fights, and that's that V has 3 people that can do a lot of damage later on, hitting things. Has that Yang, who is gaining levels. Sure, he doesn't hit too hard for a while, but he's still hitting, while on Charlie's side, that Teller isn't exactly doing anything.
This D-Knight's going to try to do stuff to both of these runners, but unfortunately for him, they are going to prevail, and that's going to put Charlie at 6 and Zoe at 5 with the knowledge of 6, so we are getting close to that go mode.
Yeah. Where are the levels going to come at this point in time? We've got Darkness Crystal, we've got the machine on the table as a possibility. We haven't found Sirens, but we do still have the Moonshot.
Sirens were in Dwarf, and Zoe
they were in
picked
Dwarf.
15. Yeah, I didn't see how many Charlie picked up, and Zoe definitely has a big stack.
Okay, so I'm looking at key items at this moment in time and seeing 7 on the table. 8 on the table with the Sand Ruby as well. So 2 more for 10 key items, and then that's grind time.
Yeah, for sure. And if you luck out, you might have 10 after Baron. You might get 1 from this check, and then I'm assuming both runners will peek the basement to see if that's the final required boss. And that one could also have a shot at giving you
a couple of dwarf statues? It is. King Geoff and Luca are saving the day today.
Saving the day, giving us 2 bosses required. So this is a very heavy dwarf important seed.
Optimus Arrows not exactly what you're looking for, but you don't hate going to Baron because Dark Knight Cecil was on the throne.
And will we have a blue robe here with potentially the gauntlet? Will we have a Golbez here? We're about to find out, first on Charlie's side, and then just a few seconds later on Zoe's.
We can't get everything on the here, can we? No,
I guess not.
Wyvern? Yeah, you don't fight this fight. You don't fight that fight.
But we just got Artie arrows, so it'll be so easy.
Yeah, you're anchored, maybe, but you don't fight that fight. Zoe isn't even seeing it. Yeah, V is saying, that's Wyvern, I don't care. I'm going somewhere else.
Yeah, looks like Zoe's going to mop up that Mylon and friends. Get to the 6 out of 7, maybe some sirens first. We'll see how many V chooses to do being under the 10 key item threshold.
Oh, got 32. Well, that's more than enough, even with the 10 key item threshold. So this may be a full grind all the way.
That's funny. I saw V choose 15, and Zoe must have hit the button twice to buy the double.
But with the Artemis arrows and Rosa being as fast as she is, this is a very quick grind. And one shot in every single arrow. You don't even need to aim.
It's like Charlie's about to make a party swap decision.
Yeah, here comes Yang for Rydia. And likely Rosa for Purim. No? This?
Saw Rosa reaching out and saying, take me on your team, and probably just walked on by.
Not sure why just Yang there. This is a great opportunity to get that Rosa to a fairly high level threshold. Oh, being able to slingshot her as well as Yang. Yang's going to do a lot of damage with punching later. This is a berserk complement. It just feels it just feels a little off. That's all.
Yeah, we can ask Charlie about it later. What went into that decision, keeping the Porum. But you know, Porum is going to get a ton of experience too when Charlie completes whatever grind he does.
I don't think we found hourglasses, have we? I know we found one in the chest in Castle Webland, but I don't think we found hourglasses out in the wild in shops. So
I think we've seen all the gated shops.
Yeah, I don't think this is a. It's difficult to say you're going to go and do a Gold Dragon grind because of this.
Yeah, you'd like to be able to stop them to set up your easy weeks and maybe even attempt to go for double lives. But yeah, we'll see what Charlie decides to do. Do we have? I think we have a mute knife, so warlocks would be fairly quick.
Warlocks feels a little bit safer because you've got an anchor, you've got Porum who can mute them quick, and then Edge can just go wild with that mute dagger.
Yep, just one-shotting and hopefully allowing the other teammates to throw the life potions for the life glitch.
Yeah, the danger is that really the less than 10 key items on the fights, because you can win the fights, but they're still fairly long ones, and you don't have. If you don't get double experience, the gains that you get out of this aren't as amplified.
Yeah, I wonder if Baron had given the 9th key item to Charlie, if he'd be more incentivized to hunt, or if Zoe had done Mylon earlier, gotten the Sand Ruby. But both runners may be doing a sub 10 key item grind at this. Zoe definitely is.
Yeah. Charlie has just added the Mute Dagger to Edge's hand. This feels very much like Warlocks right now. Which is something like a little bit under 90,000 experience with with the life glitches on 2. So it's not exactly bad, but it's but you still have to swing 3 times, and
yeah,
it's a little less. It's a little less damage than swinging 1 time at an egg. With this being 32, while the other one being something like 29,000. But you also have to spend a bit of time doing life glitches as well.
Yeah, there's definitely more steps. The mute and the some kind of berserk maybe. We saw Keinatsu at the Morisame, not required in this seed. We'll see if Charlie now does pursue that Warlock grind on his way down to the lower portion of the moon. Neither runner has the pass, so no advantage to one or the other now, and I'm wondering how much that's going to influence where Charlie goes and what Zoe does once she finishes the Mylon and Friends, and then probably heads to the moon as well.
Charlie might check all the bosses first to check if, say, Gauntlet is here, because that's a grind in itself. But no, here come the Warlocks. Quick mute out with Charlie anchored as he is. The mute usually comes out before the spells. You do have to be aware of the punches when there's a single Warlock left, but for the most part, you're okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Edge is fast enough, because that Yang is currently base level and very vulnerable to that punch, but I think this fight is just about over.
One of the biggest dangers is actually Edge's position in this particular fight, because because of the way the Warlocks might get a turn in, he might jump the gun and prevent a life glitch happening. And you really want him in that position and 5 spot. At least I like that spot, because it's easier to get life glitches before they die, or when they die.
Yeah. I wonder with the levels in the gear you have. I'm still thinking about that Pale Dim. If that Pale Dim happens to be gating another, that Luca key, that Twin Harp, something else that opens up another boss. Just the fact that Zoe's going to be down to only 1 boss makes me think that V's probably not going to do it, but it could be an interesting gamble.
Level 50 on Kain, 46 on Rydia. This is done quite a bit of a grind, but this isn't a final grind. I'm expecting to get the last of the experience maybe in the last fight, maybe against the Gauntlet. So could be heading up to the moon immediately after this. Flame out, quick berserk straight afterwards. Rydia, I believe, has been cursed, so is the anchor for this fight. And then Mylon is going to say, "Oh, my body," at some point.
Yeah, I wonder how much time gain there's going to be here with the extra levels. I'm assuming it's going to be a quicker fight for Zoe.
Plus, with 3 people doing the hitting, and Yang at this point is going to be doing quite a bit of damage. Kane's got good gear, was doing a lot of work for Charlie. Edge was doing the same. So, and yeah, you can't kill Rydia because Lit One.
Lydia, the lightning rod.
And you don't care about the lit ones at this point. Your levels are, and experience hit points are so high. It's not even a contest, unlike it was with Charlie, and that was a very quick fight.
Yes, it was definitely time gain there for Zoe. And let's see what V does now. Getting that Sand Ruby, which is fairly useless at this point, even in terms of key items, because Zoe's done the majority of her grind.
And there he goes, not even thinking about that Eldim fight again.
Nope.
Off to the moon. Charlie is done, so this is... I don't think he's finished his grind either. It feels a little bit quick for it. It might be close. He also doesn't need a whole lot of levels because he's going with Berserker strats as well.
Yeah, they're both going to be well set up by the time they do find this final boss, I think. And we'll see if Charlie's earlier moon dive pays off if he finds a required boss going right to the Crystal Sword altar. If he finds one of them here, I think he's going to be in pretty good shape, and Zoe's going to have to catch up. But Zoe does have the stronger party at this point.
Yeah, the safer party. Yeah, that's level 45 on Purim. Doesn't even have Cure 4 yet. This is really hoping that you'd find a gauntlet maybe somewhere up here. If you find Golbez, you continue doing the rest of your the rest of the levels with the sirens, but Gauntlet is the real prize if you're wanting to level up.
We have someone that casts Mega Nuke here at the Crystal Sword altar. It just doesn't seem to be coming out quite as fast as I remember from the vanilla game.
Well, sometimes you just have to count down from 5 to 1.
I was going to ask, did Bahamut even start counting? But he just got to 4. So this is, to me, one of the tricky things. You only need one more boss, but then you find essentially a free and relatively quick boss here at Crystal Sword. And do you take it or do you not? Charlie decides to take it, and if it opens up one of those key items that gates another boss, and none of the other required bosses are on the moon, it's probably a great play. But if he immediately finds a required boss at one of the lower spots, then maybe, not a lot of wasted time, but a little bit, and that is not a gating key item.
No, that is a Legend Sword. That doesn't help anyone. And at this point, I think it's a simple boss to win. It's tanky items, and Charlie needed the levels. Purim needs that Cure 4, or needs that level 48. Zoe with Rosa doesn't. Rosa already has a bunch more hit points, has that Cure 4. Zoe is ready to finish this seed. Charlie needs a little bit more of a push, but is a little bit more ahead.
Yep, Zoe's going to find the Keinatsu here, I believe, and assuming a quick reset out, as just like Charlie, he only needs one more boss.
That one is not it.
Yeah, if we don't hit Golbez or the Gauntlet, we're going to have 2 more quick resets and then decision time.
Asura, though, is not a big danger. Oh, never mind. We found that gauntlet.
We sure did. It looks like
And
just a single D fossil.
Yeah, and this is the rest of those levels for Charlie, and also a bunch of extra levels for Zoe. So Zoe is going to have Nuke available, or go complement her Berserker strat, while Charlie is going to be fully invested in those, in the free hitters, while Porum is going to be just healing.
So I think if the Ribbon Room is Zoe's first stop, I think that puts Zoe kind of in the lead here. What do you think about that?
It's going to be close. I don't think it's the lead, but it's because the gauntlet here isn't exactly slow. Oh no, it's really the first 3 fights which are the dangerous ones, and the 2 triggers at the end take a little bit of time, but they're not dangerous, and it's not really a slow gauntlet, but it's yeah. I don't think it's going to put even if she went there, it would put her in the lead, but I think it's going to be very close afterwards with how much you've got left afterwards.
Looking okay, I do see coffins because those triggers can be coffined, which, as you mentioned, they do take a long time if you have to whittle down their HP. But hopefully, Charlie will use those coffins and speed through that portion as Zoe chooses not to take Bahamut, so gaining a little bit of that time back and continues down to the LST where B will find this gauntlet before long.
Yeah. Really, the save there is just to make sure that Ray doesn't have to walk back all that distance, which I'm not sure if that's a time save or anything like that, but it might be just a quick reset point.
And I'm wondering if Zoe's going to have a quicker time here with the if B's going to choose to use the Artie setup to get through these dragons a little quicker than what Charlie's able to do.
Very well do. The other bonus that Zoe has over Charlie is that hourglass that was found in Castle Evelyn. The second fight, this fight against the King Ryu and Ging Ryu, is a prime target for that hourglass, because you can see how much damage it is doing to Reckless Charlie without them being stopped. These blazes, the entangle, they add up. You've got no way to quickly kill them either, because you don't have any dragon busting gear like Zoe does as well. So
I think Charlie does have Artie arrows and even that Artie bow. I'm not sure, obviously the only person that could equip it in Charlie's party is his Soul White Mage, so maybe not seen as an option at this point.
Second fight is done though. Third fight is done. Just the 2 triggers left. Those coffins could very well come into play. Zoe doesn't have those coffins, I don't believe. So that is going to be Charlie's little benefit over on this particular fight. The other question is, does this give enough to get Porum up to Tier 4? I think it does, but only just. I think it does
yeah, and we'll have to see if Charlie decides to do any further grinding or if he's going to push it with this party.
I think you have enough power, especially being properly anchored, but it's still going to be a risky fight.
So just under 1 hour, 16 minutes into this, Charlie is the first runner to get the crystal. Zoe not far behind at all. There's that hourglass, that very valuable hourglass found probably like an hour, 8 minutes ago at this point, or maybe even a little bit further back than that, coming into play and really paying off here.
Level 49 on Porum, 46 on Young, 50 on Edge, 48 on Kane. gear is good, but not perfect. The fight is okay. The fight against the Romans is, coming up is going to be okay, but it's still going to be a little bit risky.
Yeah, especially compared to what Zoe is working with. I definitely agree. So Charlie's going to be the first to meet our final boss, and we'll see if this party can get through it quicker than Zoe's party. But we're walking down those crystal tiles.
Getting closer to the belly and the center of the moon. The core is approaching, and, well, there's only one thing there. The Fu Room.
I'm assuming... The what?
The Fu Room.
Yeah, I wonder... I don't think push B to jump is on for this flag set. I don't think we're going to hop over this final boss and go see those Fus. It would be fun to see.
Yeah. Oh, well.
But those are not Fu flags out in chat. Those are Z flags, Poidrax. So we're about to do something special to this final boss. And why don't you tell us what's going to happen?
We're going to fight Zeromus, but Zeromus is not going to be Zeromus. Zeromus is going to be someone different because he likes to change his appearance every now and then, like in most seeds. So what we say is, in the name of the moon, we shall punish who?
Waiting for that crystal throw to reveal that. Zoe is working her way through the final trigger, I believe, the final fight of this gauntlet, about to get the crystal, and we'll soon be joining Charlie in the Z fight. We're going to have Z up on both screens, I believe, at the same time.
Will Zoe check the chests? Will Zoe save? No check, but save just in case. And Final Fantasy 1 Nestos.
A small sprite, but still terrifying with all of Zeromus' abilities. Silk Web going out on Charlie's side to nerf Big Bang.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we saw saw this sprite taking a shower in a waterfall earlier. Now we know. Now we know why it was there. Just preparing for this moment.
I guess Dark Elf, all that kind of blue-gray color is dirt that got washed off, and to reveal the green underneath.
Punches are coming out though. Oh, Kane swinging, edges swinging. Charlie's got quite a big head start on this fight, but Zoe definitely has the tools to bring it back quickly as well.
Yeah, I think if Charlie can keep his fight stabilized, Charlie should be able to take this one home, but we'll see, because Charlie is putting out, what are we looking at, like 7,000 to 9,000 damage per round of melee, which is not bad at all.
No, it's not too bad. The big danger is always, when you don't have someone who does big damage, a possibility of a Big Bang into Meteo. Or Big Bang into a or nuke into a Meteo, and there's a lot of wombo combos that are possible.
There are, and especially considering Porum's smaller hit point pool compared to Zoe's Rosa. So we're seeing, what are we looking at, like 800 hit points difference of damage, maybe even a little more than that.
Yeah, and yeah, Porum is a great dodger of magic, which Zeromus or Astosmus does all the time. But even she has her limits, so one well-placed Big Bang could be the end of Porum, and then after that you're just hoping that things don't go too terribly.
I think Charlie went straight ahead to Berserk with Edge. We just saw Zoe wait to make sure that the dart of the Excal would land, and it landed for over 8,000 damage. I'm not sure if we saw any darts on Charlie's side. He might save them for a potential black hole if that comes up.
I think the big danger for Zoe here is I'm not entirely certain if Iridia has that nuke spell, and hasn't. And I don't think she has a silk web, which was in the rabbit shop on the moon to slow Zeromus down. So this is a bit of a danger for her.
Look dangerous on Charlie's side, but we got those rocks, and I think all 3 Berserkers are still swinging. Can they take it home?
Yarn's got enough power after that, and Astosmus is down.
GG to Reckless Charlie. Yang landing the final punch after the Meteo to send down the final boss. Congratulations to Charlie winning this race against Zoe Vermilion. And looks like our time of 1:22:31 coming in. So well done by Charlie, who is joining us now. GG, Reckless Charlie. Well played.
Much appreciated. 10 minutes sometimes isn't long enough. Because that was, by all means, like, I feel like kind of the last stretch of it, I felt like I just bled so much time.
Yeah. Zoe was catching up pretty consistently through the latter half of the checks, but you built up enough of a buffer with the start and kept it going. And why pour him over Rosa?
It was kind of I hadn't checked the last character yet, so my thought was early darkness means I'm going to sling Yang and Rosa. And if that last character is a Palom, then Twin will help carry me through kind of the early part of the game.
Okay. Ended up being an Edge who did quite a bit of legwork as well, so...
No joke. He it was so instrumental in getting through a lot of the fights.
What did you think of the hook route bosses there? You had the antline into the Ogo, and you attempted the antline kind of just straight up fight the first time, and then the second time it looked like there was no hesitation. You went right and decided this is the perfect moment to spend that spoon.
Precisely that. Like, my thought process, I was trying to think about what my Z fight was going to look like. So initially I was thinking, okay, spoon plus like another good dart or so. I can probably take white nuke dart to Z, kind of for reflective strats. But then that kind of changed when the antlion showed up and Iridia got bopped, and from that point forward it was, gonna end up on Berserkers at some point. Gotta get rid of the spoon, gotta get through these checks.
And then Dwarf, it was sort of just one boss after the other, and Darkness came pretty well timed as well, and it was just sort of a consistent seed rather than something that just threw everything at you. It just kept coming at consistent moments, didn't it?
Indeed, a lot of my there have been some really jetty seeds and some really kind of trolly seeds, and this was kind of square in the middle of it. Like times included, like it just felt like just right. Like the pacing of it felt right. Like I was happy to not ever touch that Pale Dim. Happy to see Darkness when it came, although a 9th or 10th key item would have been nice. It is what it is.
Yeah, talking about being kind of right in the middle between a jet and something that goes a little longer. Both you and Zoe ended up taking grind sub 10 key items. Was that ever a thought? I guess you just knew that since you only had one boss left, that you weren't necessarily going to hunt for key items at that point?
Yeah, I mean, my thought was I'll take any freebies that show up, and beyond that, like I want to get to Cure 4 on Porum, and I figured about the point where I stopped, I knew Porom only needed about 3 more levels. And if I was a level or two short, maybe I have to come back for more. Or maybe I just go. Turns out the gauntlet where it was, well, outside of the fact that fights 2 and 3 were a bit of a slog, was pretty happy to see it.
Yeah, with that gauntlet, you and Zoe had different advantages. Zoe found the only hourglass I think we saw in the entire seed when V looted Eblin early, but then you had the coffins for the trickers, which I think sped you up there a little bit. I was happy to see you going right for those and not having to deal with the, I think, 12,000 hit points of those trickers.
I wasn't 100% sure that coffins would work. I felt like it probably would. I know that 12,000 hit points. I keep thinking, okay, well, all right, well, it's weak. It's probably area weak's help, but I don't know if they're immune to instant death or not. It was just kind of I was getting ready on the first one to switch over to the Thunderclaw and Berserk up, but thankfully that wasn't the case.
It's a peep more than the 12,000 experience that you have, 12,000 hit points that you have really worry about, because once the peeps happen, it just feels so slow, doesn't it?
That it does.
So you're through. You're now in the round of 8. The best of 3s happen next week. Going to be changing up your style a bit from best of 1s, or sort of sticking to your guns and playing it by ear?
I'm happy to be where I am. Like, V is so freaking good at this game, and kind of just still kind of up there, like brain is just scattered.
Yeah, my apologies. So, it's around 16 next week. It's the one after that, which is round of 8 for the best of 3. So back, best of 1 still. My apologies.
All good. But yeah, beyond that, like, all I could really do is play my game, and just do what I can. If I start trying to metagame too much, then I might just kind of overthink things or kind of get into my own head a little bit, and I am doing everything in my power not to do that.
Well, you played very well tonight, and as you mentioned, you defeated a very strong runner in Zoe Vermilion. So another GG and well played from me, and good luck in your next round.
Much appreciated. Thank you, Corks and Poydrak for the comms. Thank you, folks. Thank you, Xenocat and Dubword for doing all the stuff behind the scenes. Looking forward to watching this back. Big GGs to Zoe, because, like I said, V is better than a lot of runners, even if V doesn't play all the time. So I'm thankful to be where I am, for sure.
Very talented runner, and you've proven that you are one as well. So congratulations.
Much appreciated. Thank you so much. You folks have a great night.
You too, Charlie.
So that was our winner, and I do believe we are now joined by Zoe. Close race, didn't quite hit that last target at the end, did you? If you're speaking, we can't hear you, so do apologise for that.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that cool cow reactive icon to light up. But while we're waiting, and we did, during the Charlie interview, Zoe finished up, and you can see on the screen the results, just how close it was. Barely over a little minute difference, and that that was the race we had all night. Charlie taking that early lead, and we saw Zoe continually chipping away at it as Ver fights. Some of Ver fights were definitely quicker. The hook route was quicker. Mylon and Friends was quicker. And I would love to have an alternate reality where Zoe had some coffins as well, just to see how close this race would have been.
Yeah, we could see it was visibly there. You could see it at the time being made up was constantly being chipped away. Each and every boss check, each and every boss fight, right? Even the trick fights at the end weren't exactly slow because of the Thunderclaw option.
Yeah, that's true. Looks like Zoe has rejoined. Zoe, are you there? GG.
Unfortunately, V is still not here. Well, V's here in spirit. And
Hello.
hello,
Hello?
hello.
Zoe.
Okay. My voice mod was messing up apparently, and then so I had to go with no voice mod tonight. Hello.
Hello. Didn't quite hit the target that you wanted at the end.
No, not at all. But on the bright side, I'm at a net 0 in time on the tournament. I beat Cossack by 1 minute and 9 seconds and lost to Charlie by 1 minute and 9 seconds. So take with that what you will.
That's pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah. I did have coffins, by the way. I had exactly 2.
Oh, right.
I didn't know it worked. I didn't think about it.
Oh yeah, and I guess we didn't even notice that they were in your inventory. But yeah, as Poydrak mentioned, you still got through those trickers, and yeah, wow. I mean, it was just an amazingly close race the entire time. You also, and actually we were mentioning how you were making up some time on various fights, and one of them was choosing immediately to spend that spoon against that antlion. That didn't look like that was even thought. It was just instant.
No hesitation. As soon as I saw that antlion sprite appear, I was like, yeah, this is where I use my spoon.
Early game name looting. I believe you mentioned something in the thing, the discussion with Charlie afterwards. Are you happy with your early game looting, or do you feel that maybe you're doing a little bit too much?
I know I do a little bit too much, but in practice and against Cossack, it's exactly what I did. And usually it pays off. Tonight it didn't, primarily because of that early Earth crystal negating any advantages that I had from the stuff that I found. On top of the white shirt coming out of Zot, negating the white shirt that I found. It was just really bad timing for that Earth crystal on my part. But I respect every runner that I play against, and I decided this tournament that I'm not going to try and get cheeky or gamble thinking that I've got time to make up if it doesn't pay off. So I just stick with my game plan and what I do in practice.
Well, all the runners, no matter who they are, have a lot of strengths for them, and you can't take anyone lightly, can you?
No, not at all. I didn't expect to lose this one, but I'm not surprised that I did.
Yeah, I mean, as we've just mentioned so many times, it was intensely close the entire way, and it was very exciting to see you constantly chipping away your Mylon friends. We saw you peak that early. Was there any thought of doing that when you first saw the Fey March, or did you just knew you wanted to come back with more levels?
There was a thought. As I was sitting out of the Pale Dim, I was thinking, do I go back for this? I have Leviathan, and I can chip away at this slowly. But then I realized that I wasn't anywhere close to 10 key items. It wasn't going to be a fast fight. And in this particular tournament, where everything is boss hunts, I had the information I needed. I knew he was there. So I could leave, go look for other bosses, go get experience, and come back. And the only thing that could be guarding is either another boss, which means I have to come back anyway, or the Darkness Crystal, which means I probably have to come back unless I find the pass. So it was just a matter of, no, it's going to be too slow. Let's just come back with some levels.
Yeah, I think that's a really good approach to take, that the knowledge being the thing. And at that point, you had the knowledge of at least one required boss in Dwarf Castle. And pretty exciting, I guess, to find another one, and both of them being weak to the Thunder.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. Just slap on that Thunderclaw and Zerk up and good to go. Yeah, I don't really know how I feel about the boss placement. This wasn't the fastest seed I've had. I think my fastest is like 54 minutes because I had Crystal when I finished the hook route on that seed. That was a wild seed. But this was faster than my average. Would have liked to see not the gauntlet. I would have preferred to see Golbez there in Ribbon Room, but yeah, we take what we can get.
It was more of a consistent seed, throwing bosses at you at intervals that made sense, that you could get ready for it, and then there's a little bit of a lull, and then the next one happens. It wasn't bang 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 or taking a while to find that last boss or last 3 bosses. It was just a consistent seed, really.
Yeah, and that's how I feel a lot of my practice seeds go. Going to Moon with needing 1 boss left is always paid off. I think one time it didn't. I had to get my boss off the giant, but I've never had to like hunt for a key item to go find a boss I need, which is nice. The one thing that I really would have liked is had the seed been more generous with key items to shorten up that grind. Sitting at 8 with the only spots that I could realistically access being the Moon, the Odin spot, and the Fey March, I was like, there's no way I'm getting to 10. Let's just go ahead and grind.
Yeah, that's what the Odin spot. Did you just feel it was? Did you just feel it was Wyvern and say no? I'm not going to do this.
No, I just thought it was Lunar Sparkle, and I was just face checking. So I was like, yeah, I don't need that.
It was Wyvern, so
of course it was. Yeah. Of course it was Wyvern.
Yeah, we just thought, it's Wyvern. You're just running away.
Yeah.
So, you're now in the waning bracket, and a couple of weeks now before your next race. Don't do anything to prepare, or just going to just take it as it comes and see what happens.
Probably just take it as it comes. I've been practicing very sparingly. I've got a lot on my plate between raiding in 14 and 2 partners moving up to Massachusetts within the next month. So my time to practice is few and far between. I usually just practice 1 or 2 seeds a week. So I'll probably just keep that up and hope for the best. Let's see, I'm taking a peek. I'm going to see where I'm getting placed at here. We were race 69. Nice.
And I believe your opponent is
Beauty and Discovery.
Yeah.
So not super familiar with the racer. This will be the 2nd race that I'll have in a row against someone who got a bye due to someone dropping to watch, which but that's just how we'll see how that goes.
Things happen and life happens. We just move on.
Oh yeah, no shame against anyone that had to drop. It's just with the way that it worked out for me, it's a little annoying. But that's just how it is.
We'll let you run away and do something else for a little bit, and we'll finish up here.
Yeah. Have a good night. Thanks for the broadcast.
Thank you, Zoe. GG again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that ends our race here tonight. A really exciting one between Reckless Charlie and Zoe, with Reckless winning by just over a minute. And as Zoe pointed out, I guess exactly 1:09. I'd like to shout out our behind-the-scenes team, Xenocat on the restream, and Dubword clicking those boss buttons all night long and those key items. And really happy that I got to broadcast this one with you, Poydrak.
Feelings mutual. I'm always happy to hear you on comms and getting to be beside you for tonight. Great pleasure. So thank you for that. I do believe we're heading over to another race in Free Enterprise 3. Is that correct?
That's a really high number of free enterprises, but I guess that's where we're going.
Yeah, I believe it's Endoto versus Blue Wizard. And just a reminder to everyone who has been watching this race, please do not spoil. Other people who have not watched this race may want to watch it. So, yeah, don't spoil. We'll be with you near you with the newspapers if you do. Otherwise, enjoy your evening with more Free Enterprise. And we'll see you very soon, I'm sure.